David swallowed. The place it reflected. David looked at the large, full-length mirror standing in the hall. Attached to the edge of the mirror was Lily's purple ribbon. He slowly pulled the ribbon. Behind it, almost invisible, a small silver key appeared, stuck to the edge of the mirror. The key belonged to the drawer Mary always kept locked. With trembling hands, David inserted the key into the lock and turned it. Inside was an old, leather-bound notebook, Mary's diary. David read in horror. Mary had written that her father, Mr. Johnson, was about to uncover documents revealing the illegal activities of a very powerful company. The company's name, Ether Corp. Mary had written in her final note, The documents
are in our old house, in the secret compartment in my father's study. The password is my
birthday. David was shaken by the truth echoing in his mind. His family's death was not an accident, but a cold-blooded murder planned by Ether Corp to silence his grandfather. And now this shadowy organization was using Lily's voice to lure him into a trap. He rushed out of the house. He had to go to his old home. Perhaps at the end of this trap there was one last piece of evidence on Lily's phone that could bring down this organization. When he arrived at their old house, he saw that the door wasn't locked. He stopped, a cold shiver running down his spine. This was an invitation, a trap, but David would risk everything for Lily's final whisper. He slowly pushed the door open and slipped inside. The air inside the house hung heavy like a 7-year-old secret. David headed straight for his father's study. He lifted the rug under the desk. Beneath it lay a wooden box with a combination lock. He entered the code, 041585. Inside were a thick, sealed envelope and a USB drive. David placed the envelope and USB drive in his jacket's inside pocket. These documents must be the ones that would spell the end of Ether Corp. At that very moment, the moment David had been expecting but was still unprepared for, arrived. The front door creaked shut. Inside the house, the sound of heavy, deliberate footsteps began to echo. The person approaching was in no hurry. They knew exactly where David was. David approached the study door. The footsteps from the hallway stopped. In the dim light, a tall, muscular silhouette appeared in the doorway. "So you found it," he said in a hoarse voice. "Old Johnson's inheritance." David crouched in the dark corner of the room. Michael Stone slowly stepped inside. His face, illuminated by the moonlight in the darkness, matched that of the truck driver David had seen at the police station 7 years ago. But this time there was no weariness on his face, only a cold and calculating threat. "You," David said, his voice low but firm, "you are Michael Stone, the truck driver." The smile on the man's face spread with terrifying certainty. "Bingo, a loyal employee of Ether Corp, and the one who cleaned up your family. I was just doing my job." David's eyes filled with tears, but he neither cried nor faltered. Only pure, burning anger remained. "You called me with Lily's voice. "Why did you go so far, Michael?" "Because," Michael said, taking another step closer, "your father left an opening in the accident report, Lily's missing phone. We knew that the best way to guide a grieving father was with the voice of his dead daughter. That phone was programmed to relay the findings to you. We turned it into bait that would lead you straight to us, to silence you along with the documents." Michael pulled a silenced, semi-automatic pistol from under his jacket. His voice was threatening. "Hand over the documents, or you'll join your family. Remember, David, Ether Corp, say shadow is very long. This wasn't just an accident, it was a cleanup." David clutched the envelope inside his jacket tightly. He stepped back. There was no more pain or fear. Only revenge remained. "Never," David said, his voice hard and clear. "These documents will be the end of Ether Corp. And you, Michael, tonight, this will be the last place Lily's voice calls you." Michael seemed surprised by David's determination, but quickly recovered. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, David grabbed the old iron umbrella stand in the corner of the room and threw it with all his might at Michael's arm. The umbrella stand struck Michael's shoulder. The gun had fired, but Michael had missed. The gun clattered to the floor. Michael groaned and staggered. David, in a last desperate move, ran toward the door. Michael's growl and his angry shout of "Come here!" echoed off the walls of the old house. David was running frantically down the street. He knew this was only the beginning. He could hear Michael closing in fast behind him. Despite his exhaustion, David kept running. In his hand was proof of a truth that would expose his family's killers. This battle was just beginning.